Welcome back. Sorry it's been so long since the last video. Just been a combination of things. But as you can see in the background here, I've got the studio now cladded in the PVC cladding. It turned out really well, really happy with it. So that's what this video is going to be, just taking you over the different stages of the cladding. It's not really rocket science, to be honest, but I'll just take you through it anyway and show you how I did it. It worked well for me. There's a few wee things that I added in that other people might not think of, like the vermin control I have in at the bottom of the boards, just to keep anything from coming up the back of the sheets. It lets air up, but doesn't let any vermin or spiders or whatever up. So hopefully that might be of interest to somebody. So listen, enjoy the video. Please subscribe to the video. A lot of people that are watching, I'm starting to get a couple of good, into the thousands now in views for the videos, but I've still at 52 subscribers, which is, listen, I'm not really that big into it, but please do subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. I've got loads of good content coming, so that should give plenty for the channel. And over the next course of the year, I'm going to give it a year, see how it goes over the year. And listen, if I'm not getting the views and the subscribers, well, listen here, no harm done. I just thought I'd give it a go anyway, I've also just changed my phone from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 14. I just hope that this new phone gives a better picture for everybody. And I'm not going to invest big money in equipment until I see how the whole thing goes. So it's just going to be me iPhone 14 for now. So please enjoy the video, and as I said, please subscribe, please like the video and share with your friends. Okay, so I've just started side sheet. Well, I haven't started the sheeting as of yet. I'm preparing to start to do the sheeting on the side of the building, but I just wanted to show you this before I go any further and forget. So this is angle bead that you would use on internal walls in a house, for around the reveals in a window. It's 22mm by 22mm right angle bead. So what I'm doing with it is, so I've left these lats, as you know, I've nailed them on in line with the studs inside. But what I'm doing at the bottom, I'm screwing on with wee stainless steel 20mm screws there, you can see them. I'm screwing this on at the bottom of every one of these lats. And what this is for is to keep vermin from coming in behind the sheets, but it allows airflow. Okay, so that's the reason I'm putting that on. I haven't seen anybody else using this, so I'm going to patent this idea. I thought it was pretty smart on my behalf. Don't like clapping myself on the back too often, but there we are. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do there, and I think that'll be a good way of, again, as I said, allowing airflow, but yet not allowing vermin to go in the bottoms of the sheets. And then obviously it'll be sealed at the top, so there's no issues there. So I'm going to proceed now and put on my outside corners. I'll talk you through the actual sheeting that I got and how you put it all together. Okay, so I've just put on my first outside corner. Now the outside corners, let's call it the starter piece, goes on first. Okay, so you can see it's a right angle piece of plastic, but there's like a groove here in the center. So how this works is, when you put on your sheeting here, you leave a 10mm gap from here to the start of your sheet for expansion. So your sheet goes on here, and then obviously your sheets will be on the front of the building up to this point. Then an outside corner snaps into that, if that makes sense. I'll show it to you in greater detail, but I just want to show you how you fix. So I'm fixing them on with 25mm screws here into the timber. So a real good strong fit. And if you come to the back, then we're putting on this one. You obviously cut it from length, from top to bottom, and then you just, so you can see here, that's the right angle part of it. It fits over your finish lats on the side of the building, and then it just literally pops in there, like so. And that's the back, and you just screw it into place. And then I'll show you the starter trim that's sitting down there on the ground, how you actually start your first sheet and how it's fixed at the bottom. and then it'll all make sense when I start showing it in greater detail. Okay, so you can see now I've got the first two boards on. This is the famous board I'm using. So it's a PVC wood effect sheet. They are very robust and they're tongue and groove. So literally once you get the first sheet on, they just interlock and overlap, so when the water runs down, obviously it runs down and there's no penetration then through the sheet. Very handy to fit, to be fair. Once I've just cut a couple, to literally you get them roughly set into where you want them. Just get it then over to this position here, so I'm just roughly leaving the same overlap here, so you can see there, or you might. I'll show you. I'll get it in a bit closer, and you make sure that it's in all the way. Just give it a wee push down in the middle. And what I do now, I just put a screw in the middle, and I'll show you the screws I'm using. Now these screws, they say you shouldn't put them in, really tight. So you just literally put it in until you hear the first bite. Because the reason that these perforated holes are long, horizontally, it's for expansion and contraction in the heat and in the cold. So the expand and contract is just to allow that. So just to let you see what I'm fitting these with. They are a 25mm screw with like a pan flat head on them. So they literally through the little slot. And I normally try, if I get an opportunity, I keep it in the middle of the slot if I can to allow that expansion. And I just give it a little tap down. Back it off a wee bit if you think it's too far in. And then what is a good idea, now obviously if the first board is level, everything thereafter should be level. But just in case, stick the level on it. It's 100%. Just if it was slightly out, you could then make your chain, your lifted or left or right. So it's actually quite handy on its own. And I'll give you a wee bit. Get these screws in, and I'll talk a little bit about the trim at the bottom. There will be times where there is no slot in it. Laughing, you just have to just put the screw through the PVC. There's no other way around it. That point there was none there, and there's none here, so it's going to leave you too loose in the screw. So that's that sheet on. I've got another one cut here, ready to put up. It's pretty repetitive, obviously. Again, just on your own. You need that third hand if you had one. I don't know why God didn't think about this when he was creating it. There's a third hand. So that's in there. It's in there. That's nice and tight. And the good thing about these is you're getting 330mm cover every sheet you put on. You're getting on, and you make sure you're getting it, but you're getting 330mm cover every time. So you wouldn't be long sticking on the sheets. Now, so that's that. Like I said, pretty repetitive. But what I'll do now is I'll cut the next couple of sheets here. It'll take another 2 full sheets at least before I need to cut the one with the slope in it. And again, you have to put a trim. It's a finished trim at the top. You put on your sheet, and then you put on a finished trim. It slots in. I'll show you how that all works in a wee second. It's the same as the bottom. It's on the top. I'll take off the camera here now, just let you see a bit closer. So that's how your overlap works there. So this is your top sheet. So any water coming down now It's never going to get back up and in there to get down the back. And then that's how your finished corner finishes or looks. So then, as I said to you, at the end, that outside corner slots over this. Well, it comes to about maybe where my thumb is there. A right angle piece of trim slots over it. And it's actually looking good. So I don't know, I'll give you a close see. You can see the wood grain effect. It does look well, I have to say. We were going to go with a brown. And to be honest, it was very woody looking. It was what they call light oak. It was just going to be a bit too much the thing, so we're happy with that. So I'll stop ranting. I'm going to put on, it'll take another definitely 2 sheets to get me up to the place where I will probably have to cut at the top. Okay, so I'll see you in a mo. So that's one side finished. Took a wee bit longer than I thought, to be honest, but I suppose it's like everything, first time doing it. It should get a bit quicker. So that's the trim. I don't know if you can really see it. There's a trim. Let's see if I zoom in. You can see the trim just up at the top there. That's the finished trim there. That just snaps on right across. And that is it done. And we're very pleased with it now, how it looks. So you can kind of see from the front, that's sort of what it's going to be like now. So we're just going to have to make sure that all our lines now match going across the front. Right, so I'm around the front here now, putting on the starter trim, and I've an offcut here, which I'll show you in a wee second. But what I've done is I've put on my vermin proof beading as I did on the other side, so it just keeps any spiders and mice and whatever else from coming up, because it's exactly as I said, fills out that gap but still lets air up. And then I put on the starter, so I've got my level across here right in the corner to the bottom of the sheet that I finished with. So the idea is to keep when you put on all your boards, all the lines will be in line with each other. Maybe some might think that's necessary, but I just want to keep it all uniform. So I put on the first trim, 2 screws, one that side, one here. Put my level on just to ensure that it is level, and it is 100% there now. So what I'll do then is I'll continue on putting the starting trim on the whole way along the front, and then what I'll have to do is put it around the windows. So your starter trim, I want to see is that in shot. And just lift it up a bit here. So what I'm going at, this is the trim here. So I'll just give you a wee snapshot of it. So that's the trim. It's in like in an L shape. So that's the way it's fitted to the. So it's screwed into the battens. At this point, your sheet sits in here, and then there's a finished trim, which is this. And hopefully I'll be able to show you on the camera. So it's got, let's say, call a female end, and this is your male end here on my left, this side here. That's your male, and this is your female. So basically then, when you've got your trim on, this, apologies now for this, very hard to do. This then slots in like so. So if you can imagine, your sheet is in here, and this is the trim then that you'll see on the face of the board. Okay, now some might say, oh, you should put on the small one first and use the bigger one so you'll have a nice bead around your window. But I want to ensure that there's no chance of getting water penetration, you know, around the windows and that, so I've left it the wider end, and then, as I say, that'll clip in. So that's basically how that trim works. So that's your starter trim, then that's your finished trim, this one here, the narrow one. So I'm going to pop that over to one side, just show you then on the window. So how it works on the window then is, this will be fitted along the edge of the window. So you'll get your screws into the battens right round your windows. So I'm going to come in maybe about 10 or 15 mil on the window. Okay. Your sheets will fit then between this trim and your bottom trim. You'll put your finished trim on top, as I said, the female end on top. and then I will seal right round the windows once this is all on with Sikaflex 522. That's the code, and I'll show you whenever I get it. I've ordered it on Amazon. So it's a black. I used it on the camper van. Most people use it on when you're building camper van. It's a really flexible silicone, and it's used in the caravan industry for building caravans as well. So it's definitely the right product to use. And it's again in the warm it expands, and the cold it contracts, but it doesn't break the seal. So it's definitely worth spending an extra few pounds. Yes, listen, you could put cheap silicone on it, it'll probably work okay, but I just want to be belts and braces. And you can get black and white, and you can get clear. So I'm obviously going to put black, which will fit in nicely with the bead. This trim is actually grey because the cladding is grey, but it should blend in. So I'm going to stop talking, get the rest of the bead on, and then we'll start the sheet up, and I'll show you. There's quite a bit of cutting on the first sheet, so I'll take you through that in a wee second. Right, so first board is going on obviously in the bottom, but as you can see, when you come to here at this point, you've got 6.5 inches from between the two trims, the bottom one and the one under the door. So I've measured over from this point to this point, which is 2435. And then my next mark, still measuring from the right side to here, is 4235. So that'll come up then, and then continue on the full board to wherever 5 meters takes me, which I would say will be somewhere around here. Yeah, so that is that. So we're going to go inside now onto the board. So I've kept all the PVC inside. So this is the board now. And I want to just show you here if I can. I should be able to show you. So you can see here the first board, there's a lip here, which that locks into each of these on the top side of the board. So that's what actually overlaps and locks the boards together. But your first sheet, you can't just put that into the trim. You have to take this first lip off, which you can see now there, I have. So then that starts your board. So I've done the same on the other side. So if you didn't do that now, you're going to end up that these lines won't match, you know, where the boards are meeting on the corners. So it just makes it a wee bit easier and a better fix to do. So I've ripped that off now. So what I need to do now is measure in those two measurements, making sure that I'm starting from the right side to my left. So my first measurement was, I just got it in my note here, 2435. So 2435 is there. I'm going to mark that, and then I keep going until I hit my next point. 4235. 4, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5, which is there. Okay. Then at those 2 points, I measure up 6.5. So this is your door basically. Between these 2 points is your door. So now I measure up my 6.5 inches. So I'm swapping between measurements here. Apologies, but that's just the nature. So that's that. Then I do the same here. Which is there. Then I square up from the bottom, or actually I square from the top. So that's your finished edge. Just shearing it out. That should be okay. Square up from the bottom. So I'm going to square up now. So from that point up. Is what is going to be cut off. Again from here. So remember, I'm taking off the upper side. So this, everything below that 6.5 is under your door. So this is the bit then that's all coming out. So now I need to just get a straight edge, which I'll use my level. But I'll just get these measurements here. What is it from the top? It's 7 1/4. So get one in the middle. So just that I'm keeping it all accurate. And I'll get that line to there and there. And we run it on through. Let's see. Okay, so anything above that now is coming out, because that's basically in your doorway. So I'm going to cut that now with the jiggy saw support here, but sure, listen, we'll go with this. Down to the mark. Same on this side, so I'm just using this insulation as a sort of a, just to keep the blade from going down through. Okay, so that's that. Now, really important to wear glasses, or I like wearing glasses, safety glasses when you're cutting that. Now, unfortunately, that's pretty much no good to nothing that now, so that's just waste, but that's okay. That's the sheet now ready to install. So that's it, that's the first sheet on. My wife came out and just gave me a hand with it, because as I was saying, at this point here, you've only got about 6.5 inches of PVC, and I just didn't want it to crack or break. So it fitted perfectly. Means now the full sheet went down as far as where I said, roughly about 1.5 meters shy. So once we get the trims on, that'll all push in there, and it's all fine. Just needs the trim on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to continue on. So I'm going to get one full board on, and then I'm going to have to do the same with the third board, where I'm going to have to cut out, you know, let's say the next board will come to about here. So then on the next board, I'm going to have to cut out that bottom section. So that's that sheet now on. You can see there the trim covers that right along. So what I'm going to do now is, so I can work out roughly from this side here on this corner, it's going to take 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, but definitely 3 to take me up on each side now of this window. So I've got the offcuts from that side, which will do this, and then that means that I'm maximising the waste, or minimising the waste, maximising, I suppose, the boards, making sure that you're not leaving yourself short down the line. But that's it. So I've battled on through the crappy weather. Now the sun is out now, thankfully, but I just didn't take the camera out because it was too wet. It was just a kind of a constant mist of rain falling all the time. So you can see now I've got each side of the window done. All my trims are on right along the top. Everything's sorted there. So I left this sheet because I'm going to need some help with it, because you're going to have a very slim bit of board above the door, and it could snap fairly easy. So I'm just going to need a bit of help with that. But I'm around this side now. I think I showed you the back the last time. I'll show you later on, but I'm on this side here now. So got my first boards in place. I have everything else cut there, and I'll just come around now, and I'm just going to start with those on now. So again, this is all repetitive. I'm just show you where I am now, what stage I'm at. But yeah, all good so far. No real major problemos. Unfortunately, there's the back of the queue, and height has been given out, so I'll take the steps to put the next one on. Okay, so what I've done here, I've just cut 2 samples rough. Well, they're 45s, but they're not fully in, they're just sitting there, but hopefully it'll be a bit tighter on the joint than that. But so if you can see here, that's kind of the way it's going to finish up. But the reason I cut these 2 here is to get accurate measurements of, you know, what length this piece is going to be, so that your 45 meters match up nice and neat, and the same then from top to bottom. So what I've done is I've just put those in there. So that is the same thing. You see that's called this the nail in my hand that's moving, and then that fits in there and you push it in, but I don't want to push it in because it's pretty tight when it goes in. But it literally fits into that piece here, the trim that's around the window, and then that snaps in and it does not come out. I have to say it's very tight. Even I've only had on about 2 clicks there, and it's pretty hard to get it off. In fact, it's very hard to get off. There we are. So you just have to be careful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this one sitting here, okay, like so. Leave that one sitting there, and then I'll measure the distance from this angle to that angle, and that's where my 45 meters will be. And again, because I'm not a professional joiner, I just want to, there's probably a quicker way, and there'll be a lot of people who will do this a lot differently than me and quicker than me, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'll get the camera set up again, I'll get these cut, and I'll cut the 4 of them. There's no real big deal here in cutting this. I don't want to be boring everybody with, so I'll just take these off, and I'll get the miters cut for the 4 of them, and I'll get them, show you me putting them on. Okay, so I forgot to turn on the camera, but I put on the top one, and what I've done as well, if you can imagine where this trim meets this trim, it's not exactly tight there because you have to leave a gap to allow for the female piece to clip in. So I just put a little bit of silicone filled in the holes just in case that water would get in, that it wouldn't, you know, go down the back of it. Now I am going to seal right round the window, as I said, with that black Sikaflex which I got, but I'm just going to continue on here now with the trim. So on the left side, as I said, top one on, then I'm going to get this one here in line and push it right up so that it meets the other one. So not too bad at that. Clip it in and push down, clipping it in as we're going down. Okay, and hopefully my measurements are correct. And just push it on down. So you can hear it clipping in as it goes down. And there we are. So that's that on, nice and neat, as you can see. I'll put the bottom one on now. So get it aligned here. So clipped in as you push it over. And it's just a wee bit. Just come over to my left a wee bit. My miters are pretty good, I have to say. There we are now. Starting to get it right up so it meets the other miter, like so. And then clip it in as it goes down. And I haven't done any dry fits. This is the first time, so hopefully I don't embarrass myself here now. First time. I might just about to embarrass myself. So forget that. It's just a wee bit, maybe tight there. There. So that's pretty much it there. You have a nice trim right round. You can see the trim there, not bad at all. Pretty happy with that. So going to move on here now to the door, and again I think we're going to, the next clip you're probably going to see is when I'm finished, because it is fairly repetitive. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the trim here now. So I'm using just what I call a junior hacksaw. I don't know, I think that's what they're called anyway. So I'm going to cut this off here now. So we're probably sitting at about 2 degrees. We were 2 degrees Celsius. We were down at -4 degrees Celsius here last night. So plastic can be very brittle in the cold. So just have to be careful cutting through. And I want to have nice straight cuts. So generally what I do now is I turn it around and I cut in from this side. And cuts with meat, and then just cut down through that joint that is in the middle. There. And you remember I did say, so that's your, I'm calling that the male, and the female here. So that just literally snaps in to this joint here, and then that creates your external trim. So I'm going to put that cut piece to the bottom. So just flick this right up. Ladder, and I'm going to start at the top. No need to seal these because, well, I don't think there is on here. It wasn't in the instructions. You literally push that in. Now there's a trim already on here. I'm going to slip that in behind that one. Put it over it. Let's see how that works. And then you just snap it in. The whole way down. That's pretty much it. That's in place. It's as simple as that. I think I might cut this finished trim here nice and flush with this because it is keeping it out a wee bit there, and then I haven't got the front one on yet, so I'll do that off camera and I'll continue on. But you can see it's a nice tidy finish. I hope you can see. We'll zoom in here. You can see there now it just needs a nice finish on the PVC, and my lines are matching pretty good there in terms of the sides. So just want to show you now the finished job. I've got all my trims on, all trims around the windows. That's me pretty much finished. The cladding, and I hope you'll agree it looks well. Nice tidy job. Highly recommend it. I got mine from a company in County Monaghan here in Ireland, JG Kelly's. I know their local rep pretty well, Seamus, who helped me out with getting all the different materials, etc. So as I said, all good. I can't complain about it. It's called Kelsey board. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, so that's it, all done. And next up will be running the cables inside, which I'm going to show you bits and pieces, but not going to show you it all because I'm not a qualified electrician, as I said before. But I will show you what I'm doing. It'll be the installation and getting prepared for putting up the plasterboard. See you in the next one. Thank you.